What's going on, Supers? Welcome back to another episode of Team Talk. It's a big game against Geelong. Let's get into it. So, we're just going to jump straight into this Team Talk. Now, it's, like I said, we're playing Geelong, and we made a couple of changes, made some forced changes. We had to because Steele Sidebottom had that aggravated his foot injury that he's had for a while, so he's not playing. Nick Daicos, of course, isn't playing for 6 weeks, so it was, who do we bring in, who do we, do we drop other people? We've made a bunch of changes. Let's get into them right now. Coming out of the team, like I said, Steele Sidebottom with that injury, Nick Daicos, and Ash Johnson comes out of the team. Ash Johnson is omitted. Admittedly, didn't do a lot last week. From the forward line, he was probably the only one that you could drop. Myercheck would be on really thin ice as well. Like, I love Myercheck. I love how he's a workhorse. But he needs to start kicking goals. He needs to do what forwards do. He's looked a little bit out of it since he's been back from his injury. So he needs to, like I said in my preview, him and McStay really need to work well together. There was a bit last week where they both went up for the same mark. There's no talk. So it's going to take a couple more games for them to gel together, but hopefully it happens soon because, Ash Johnson is out, so goes that speedy sort of key forward. And Myercheck, yeah, like I said, on thin ice, in my opinion anyway. Coming into the team, though, is big bad Billy Frampton, my boy Will Hoskin-Elliott, and finally, for the first time in weeks and weeks, and what feels like so long, Jack Ginnivan is named. Yes, he's named as the sub, but that is incredible, right? Craig McRae, throughout the week, he said, if we were to pick Jack Ginnivan 6 weeks ago to be coming to the first team, it would be based on what he was able to produce last year. If we pick him this week, it's based on what he's been able to produce in the last 6 weeks. Now, his goal numbers haven't been insane in the VFL, but what they've done with him is they haven't just kept him as a forward, they're adding more strings to his bow. They're pushing him as a high half forward into the middle as well, so he can get those kilometers into his legs. He can tackle, he can mark, he can set up goals, he can find the ball a little bit more, because with, a forward is, I guess, a very hard craft to sort of grasp, right? If the ball's not coming down, you can't just stay there. You have to move up the ground. You got to find more ways to get yourself into the game. So Jack Ginnivan wasn't doing a lot of that. He wasn't doing a lot of defensive work. Now with this sort of back pocket, the running and midfield time in his back pocket, he has another string to his bow, which seems to be my saying for this whole year. So it's just incredible to see him back. Yes, as the sub, going to be a super sub. I hope he kicks a couple of goals, which I think he will. But Jack Ginnivan coming in as the sub means Markov gets a run in the full team. So, we talk about Nick Daicos not being in the team anymore for the next 6 weeks. And Pendlebury said it, McRae said it, everyone that you will talk to will say it is, you can't replace Nick Daicos. You're not going to replace someone who is your best defender, someone who is your best running player, someone who is the best player in the team, someone who is your best midfielder, right? That's just not going to happen. What you can do is you can substitute some of his capabilities with other players. John Noble off the halfback. Markov now will provide that run and carry that Nick Daicos was doing. Isaac Quainer is going to have to do a little bit more run and carry as well. So, yes, you're not going to have Nick Daicos there, but those three guys will be able to pull their weight and run off that halfback, set up off that halfback line. In regards to the middle now, the guys have to go 2 to 3% more because, hopefully we see Bo McCurry in in the middle a little bit more. Maybe we see Jack Crisp in the middle a little bit more as well to cover that Nick Daicos-sized gap. What I like about bringing Billy Frampton into the side, we need a tool, right? Darcy Moore has been forced to play one-on-one, and we know that Darcy Moore isn't a one-on-one player. He's not the best defender one-on-one, and that's fair enough. That's not his niche. His niche is intercept marking, and we just haven't had that these last 2 weeks because he's been forced to play on bigger guys, even though we've had Billy Frampton in the VFL. So, what does that mean? Billy Frampton comes in. He probably plays on Jeremy Cameron. We know Tom Hawkins isn't playing. So he plays on one of their big men, leaves Darcy Moore and gives him the opportunity to intercept mark. And run and run and carry like he has been for the first 3 months of this season. We just haven't seen it in the last few weeks because he's been forced to play tall and play as that one-on-one defender. So we lost that attribute of Darcy Moore, and now we get that back. And yes, Darcy Moore hasn't had a really good couple of weeks, been fumbling and stuff, but hopefully this game in his natural role will help him out a bit. What I also hope it means is that we see Jeremy Howe back into the forward line. No Ash Johnson now, we didn't really bring in a forward to cover him. So no Ash Johnson. I hope to see Jeremy Howe in the forward line, kick those 3 goals, albeit late in the game against Carlton, but still, he just provides a little bit more, and with Murphy playing, it's not like Murphy's out. So Murphy, Frampton, Darcy Moore down back, they should be able to cover the Geelong forwards. Chuck Jeremy Howe, if we can afford for him to go up forward, chuck him up forward, give Geelong a little bit more of a headache down there. I think it's just such a great idea, especially with Bobby Hill around his feet. And you got the big guys as well. Jeremy Howe will provide a good foil. Now, the Will Hoskin-Elliott's change. So he didn't do much when he came on as a sub a couple of weeks ago. Got dropped and played in the VFL. Only played about 3 quarters before he was taken off to rest him for this game. Still side bottom out. Will Hoskin-Elliott on the wing. What I love about Will Hoskin-Elliott is that he is an absolute workhorse. He'll just go up and down those arcs, right? We've seen him play as a high half forward. We've seen him play as a running back. Forget about 2018 and 2019. Will Hoskin-Elliott's not going to do that anymore. That's not him. He is that role player who you can rely on. Yes, he'll make 1 or 2 mistakes. Everyone makes 1 or 2 mistakes in a game, right? But he's that guy. He's very strong overhead. He's quick, and he can hit a target. So, of course, you're going to chuck him on a wing without steel side bottom. It's not like for like, but at least it gives us that option there. And he's tall as well. Gives us that option as a marking wingman, and he can run and he can kick. Like, what more could you ask for from this guy? He's not going to get 30 touches, he's not going to kick 3 goals, but he's going to do the job that he's there for. He's the definition of a role player. Craig McRae wouldn't have picked him if he didn't think he could do this job. Overall, I give this squad and these changes an 8.5 out of 10. Only an 8.5 because would have liked to see Ginnivan get a whole game. But, we kind of lose Ash Johnson as that big key forward, and, losing Nick Daicos and still side bottom so close to the final sucks as well, but you can't really do that. 8.5, yeah, maybe a 9, because that Billy Frampton kind of pushes it up. We're going to go a 9 out of 10. I actually convinced myself just then. I actually really do like this team and like these changes. But let me know your thoughts down below. What do you rate this team? What do you rate these changes? And again, how do you think we're going to do? But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers. I'll sweep you later.